In this video we are going to talk about top 10 theories that reality is a simulation. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Simulation theory, a modern concept with ancient origins, proposes that we are actually living in an advanced digital construct, such as a computer simulation, that is supervised by a higher intelligence. Just because we interpret the environment as real and material, doesn't mean it is, said Rizwan Virk, a software entrepreneur and author of the simulation hypothesis. In reality, quantum physics findings may cast some doubt on the existence of the material universe. The further scientists search for material in the physical world, the more they discover that it does not exist. The being responsible for this hyper-realistic simulation we may or may not be in has been identified by New York University philosophy professor David Chalmers as a programmer in the next universe up. Maybe someone we mortals may consider a deity of some sort, though not necessarily in the conventional sense. He or she might just be a teenager hacking on a computer and running 5 worlds in the background, Chalmers hypothesized. However, it may be anyone who is omniscient, all-knowing, and all-powerful in our world. Is it possible that we, like Neo, are trapped in a Matrix-style computer simulation of life produced by more evolved, perhaps post-human beings? Almost certainly, at least according to the evidence discussed in the endlessly entertaining Are We Living in a Simulation? And Glitch in the Matrix subreddits, which ranges from plausible to semi-plausible to maybe not so plausible. 10. The Mandela Effect. Some continue to recall television coverage of Nelson Mandela's death in the 1980s, despite the fact that he died in 2013. As a result, the Mandela Effect is ostensibly evidence that whoever is in charge of our simulation is altering history. Or, instead, this is proof of alternate worlds, and several people have crossed from one world, where Mandela died in the 1980s, to ours, where he lived to be 95 years old. Others recalling a non-existent 1990s movie named Shazam, featuring the comedian Sinbad as a genie, and others remembering the name of the Berenstain Bears children's book series being spelled as Berenstein. 9. The case of the missing aliens. We've spent billions sending probes into space, so we should have discovered signs of extraterrestrial existence by now, right? Not so quick. According to popular belief, aliens will be much more technologically advanced than we are. So the fact that we haven't found them means we're trapped in a simulation they've worked out how to get out of. Alternatively, it's conceivable that the machine we're using only has enough RAM to simulate one planetary culture at a time. 8. Electrons who can't decide what they want to do. Electrons are fired at a photosensitive screen through slits in a copper plate in physics' famous double-slit experiment, typically creating an interference pattern that suggests wave-like behavior. However, when the same experiment is carried out under observation, electrons behave like particles rather than waves, and no interference pattern is detected. Some have interpreted this to mean that our simulation is conserving resources and only rendering those items when it detects our presence. 7. DNA infected with a computer virus. A multidisciplinary team of researchers from the University of Washington demonstrated in 2017 that malicious computer code may be embedded in physical strands of DNA. Their aim was to demonstrate that computers used in gene sequencing could be hacked. However, they may have unwittingly discovered that what we think of as biological reality was all along computer code. 6. Is there a climate change? What a brilliant idea! Our civilization is, coincidentally, on the verge of environmental collapse, implying that we could be an ancestor simulation built in the hopes of teaching our makers how to solve an energy crisis. This hypothesis is similar to the aliens as simulation quitters theory. If we come up with a novel solution to the climate crisis, extraterrestrials could return to crib the results. 5. Video games that represent reality. Elon Musk believes in Nick Bostrom's simulation theory, which states that if mankind survives long enough to develop technologies capable of running plausible simulations of life, it would do so in large numbers, resulting in several virtual realities and only one base reality, making it statistically more likely that we are currently living in one. According to Musk, the coolness of today's video games is more evidence that we exist in the Matrix. We had Pong 40 years ago, he said in 2016. A dot and 2 rectangles after 40 years, we now have photorealistic 3D with millions of people playing at the same time. And if the rate of advancement decreases by 1,000 from what it is now, the games would become indistinguishable from fact if any rate of advancement is assumed. It's a foregone conclusion that we're on our way to making games that are indistinguishable from truth. It would seem that the chances of us being in base reality are 1 in a billion. 4. Strange news. Some have speculated that recent improbabilities, such as Donald Trump's victory, Brexit, the 2017 Oscars envelope mix-up, and that year's 25-point Super Bowl comeback, might indicate that we're trapped in a malfunctioning simulation or that whoever is pressing the buttons is messing with us. 3. Computer code for quarks. James Gates, a seemingly not crazy theoretical physicist, claims to have found what appears to be real computer code hidden in the equations of string theory that define our universe's fundamental particles. He claims to have discovered error-correcting codes, which he claims are what make web browsers work. So why were they in the equation about quarks, electrons, and supersymmetry that I was studying? 2. Why do we have rules in the first place in our universe? Our universe's strict laws of physics, according to MIT cosmologist Max Tegmark, may be proof that we live in a video game. If I were a player in a computer game, I would also discover eventually that the rules seemed totally rigid and mathematical. The speed of light, the fastest rate at which any object can fly, is used to describe the speed limit for transmitting information within our simulations network in this theory. 1. Proving that we aren't living in a simulation is impossible. It might be easier to demonstrate that we are living in a simulation than it is to demonstrate that we are not. If we're in a simulation, cosmic rays, the most energetic particles known to man, will appear as pixel-like chunks and unending beams if we're in base reality, according to nuclear physicist Zora Devotee. Meanwhile, New York University philosopher David Chalmers questions that we exist in the Matrix. You're not going to get confirmation that we're not in a simulation, since any evidence that we get might be simulated. So that's it for today's video. What do you think of our list? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell before you go. Thanks for watching.